Story 1. Hire a lawyer and a financial advisor because nothing attracts long-lost friends and questionable investment opportunities faster than a lottery win. Then, I would probably disappear quietly while everyone else argues about who deserves a cut. Story 2. Tell no one. Claim. Hire a financial advisor. Assess and designate portions of winnings for certain purposes. Slowly and discreetly move out of hometown. Move to a new place. Story 3. If I were to win less than $4 million, I would try not to tell a soul other than my wife and would insist that the secret remain just between us. Below this amount, I would still have to work, so the money would just go into the savings. Although, I would take my wife on her dream vacation and upgrade her car. Also, I would pay off the mortgage. If I were to win a major lottery, enough to share and still retire immediately, I would hire an attorney to help divide the money and set up a series of trusts. One for my children to receive money when they reach certain ages and milestones in life, one for our siblings and parents to pay them monthly income, one to pay my wife and me, and the bulk into a charitable trust with the idea to give away most of the earnings each year to charitable causes. I would retire from my current career, and my new job would be to run the charitable foundation. We would travel the world and use the money to help people where we could make a real difference, such as by drilling water wells and building schools. Story 4. Go to Reddit to read all the weekly. If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you would do? Posts. I would probably die from old age before I finished them. Story 5. I would not tell anyone except my husband. I would pay off our bills, allocate a bit to family members, go on a great holiday, invest a bit, and put the rest into savings. This is obviously based on winning a large amount. If we got around $300,000, I still would not tell anyone and would do the same as above, but I would not be able to spread the love with my family. Story 6. I bought a few lottery tickets recently and thought about what I would do if I actually won like 50 million. I think I would take half of it and give it to friends and family, then relax and just keep learning and making things. Edit. I meant the amount I get after the government takes their cut. Laughing out loud. Story 7. House in the middle of nowhere but not too far from civilization, plenty of land, few animals, Starlink, and as little contact with the real common world as possible. Story 8. Not tell a soul and wait for the check to clear. Then go into work the next day as normal. The first little thing to tick me off would then just cause me to drop what I'm doing literally. Hopefully, it's something loud and brittle that would make a lot of noise as it hit the floor. I'd then inform all the staff who I dislike that I did so. Then, I would walk off into the sunset, never to return. Story 9. Keep quiet, pay debts, invest with solicitor and financial advisors, expensive ones, quit my job, and after a few months pretend I won a smaller lottery and help out family. Then I would buy 2 or 3 properties, including a remote cottage with an amazing library, and study things I like at my leisure. Simple. Story 10. Delete all my social media, change my phone number, go somewhere only a select few people will know where I am, contact a lawyer and a financial advisor. Story 11. Quietly pay off my debts, followed by getting a will drawn up and hiring a financial advisor. I wouldn't even tell anyone in my personal life for at least 2 years, taking time to make sure I'm in a good spot. Story 12. Keep quiet about it and invite everyone I care about to a special party and tell them it's very important to me. All those who show up get their debt paid off. Story 13. First thing I do is deactivate my social media. Second, if it's more than 10 million, I'll invest 75% in different index funds, mutual funds, or maybe even cryptocurrency. Third, the remaining will be for personal expenses. If it's more than 2 million, I'll buy a condo. If not, renting is fine. I don't have kids. I only have my mom. I have been living alone, and my salary is fine. Story 14. Hire an attorney. Form a trust and a limited liability company. Wait until the last week for the trust to claim the money. Live a modest lifestyle. Blending in is key to not being sued and harangued by long-lost friends. Story 15. I would buy a balloon and travel around the world in 86 days with Jackie Chan, hopefully, and a talking Jack Russell Terrier with a snappy attitude and a penchant for chaos. Story 16. Change my phone number, shut down and replace my email accounts, suspend all of my social media accounts, and head to a hotel until my wife and I can figure out our plan. Story 17. Set up a small business to claim my winnings, hire an attorney, and tell no one. Money goes in a trust to pay me a livable wage for the rest of my life. Depending on how much the jackpot is, it would never touch the principal. I would keep working the job I have and continue going to school. I may even borrow money to continue my education depending on interest rates and fees. Story 18. Don't tell anyone. Get a lawyer. Don't quit your job unless you absolutely hate it. Talk to a financial advisor. Rich people have individuals whose only job is to make them more money for doing absolutely nothing but having money. Story 19. Hire a lawyer and ensure accountability. Hide my face when I go to claim the money, and only help very close family members such as my father, brother, mother, and grandparents. Then, disappear to another country. Story 20. Open up that hospital for frogs and salamanders I've been trying to do. I never had the money or time to get it going, but this lottery-winning business will make it a reality. Story 21. Beat my dick like it stole something. I will need the post-nut clarity for further decision-making. Pay off the majority of my $12,000 in debt and my car. Will probably leave around $150 left to pay the following month, just to see if my credit score goes up a bit. Hire a lawyer specializing in tax law for my state. I'm currently like Jon Snow when it comes to this particular topic. Do some research on fiduciaries to determine how I want to manage and invest the money. I've made a lot of unwise decisions with my money in the past, like falling in love with the wrong person. Winning the lottery or something would be a blessing at this point in my life. Story 22. If the amount is big enough, I would buy a big house or construct one. Have good vehicles and have a home gym. I would donate 10% of the amount to the oppressed and destitute. Story 23. Get a lawyer. Find someone or a business that can manage the finances and guide the winner's future monetary gains. I wouldn't tell anyone besides my daughter. Disappear. Story 24. Hide it and pay some other people for protection. Then help my lovely mommy. Could buy us a house. Not sure about some aspects. Some tourist vacations seem nice. Story 25. First thing, I would probably take a deep breath and make sure I wasn't dreaming. After that, I would book a long vacation somewhere tropical to just relax and soak it all in. Probably somewhere like the Maldives. Then, I would sit down with a financial advisor to make sure I didn't go wild and blow it all. A few smart investments, pay off some bills, help out my family, and then maybe splurge on something fun, like a dream house or that car I've always wanted. Got to balance fun with responsibility, right? Story 26. Hire a really, really good lawyer so I can have all my affairs in order before I claim my money, and ideally, the lawyer would find a way for me to claim it anonymously, as I do not want my name out there. Story 27. Keep living in Dubai in a dedicated studio apartment in Jebel Ali. Treat myself to an annual personal computer and console update along with phones and technology. Change all appliances in my place every 5 years and relax with the money until I die. For a lavish life, you just need 10,000 AED a month, as long as you own the apartment and don't pay rent. So a good 6 million AED equals 1,633,800 US dollars. That's enough to sit back and enjoy the best life in the most luxurious city on the planet. Things would be much cheaper in Bali, Indonesia, where I'd need only half this amount to enjoy a 50-year, tension-free life with all the amenities. Story 28. Never tell another soul. Just keep hustling and slowly pay off debts, invest, create passive and active income sources, and then eventually indulge in buying a good house, a good yet reasonably priced car, and raise living standards step by step. Story 29. Same thing as if or when I have a personal net worth of more than $1 million, not including our primary place of residence, or for my 50th birthday, whichever comes first. I would buy a Speedmaster Anniversary Series. I have already told my wife, and she has begrudgingly agreed. Story 30. Make sure my mom takes the next week off at a super comfortable hotel before the next decisions are made. Ensuring she doesn't have to work, especially with her lupus, and can actually enjoy life properly would be one of the main things I do soon after. Overall, make sure my mom and kind members of my family are taken care of. Ensure I find a happy and safe place to live. Make sure I start making more donations. Create a pet shelter or sanctuary. Figure out the next steps. Sorry if this is a little long. It's just my brain on anxiety. Couldn't keep it as short. Story 31. Use the money to start the nonprofit I have been planning. Basically, I would start two organizations. One is a network of for-profit companies that use their influence on markets and industries to solve various problems. The other is a network of parties that does the same using its influence on governments. These are in an alliance overseen by a nonprofit that advocates for transparency to prevent them from becoming corrupt. Story 32. Hire lawyers and financial advisors to come up with a solid financial plan. The second thing I would do is delete all social media. The third thing I would do is change my number and email address. While everyone is arguing over who deserves what, I'm quietly disappearing into the background. Don't look for me. You won't find me. Story 33. I would tell nobody and talk to a financial advisor. I would figure out a way to anonymously give money to the people who have meant something to me throughout my life. Then I would enjoy not slaving away for the man. Story 34. I'm sick of playing life safe. I'd buy 1,000 wooded acres and parcel it off into 10-acre plots. Then I'd be the architect I always wanted to be. There would be normal homes, crazy homes, cave homes, mansions, castles, and treehouse homes, just a ton of different things. As I would finish them, I'd live in them for a few months and then move on and sell them or give them to a friend or family member. What do I care? Story 35. It's more fun to ask what happens after lottery winnings are deposited. Everything responsible takes a few days to set up and get in order. So the actual first thing I would do is buy something handheld I always wanted and could now afford. It could be a piece of technology or a hobby item. If I win like $50 million or more, dropping a few thousand on an item is not a problem as long as it's well managed after the fact. Story 36. I would give 10% to my mother because she's the most financially responsible person in my life. She sacrificed a lot for me. My father would probably waste it on alcohol or something. I would then pay off as much of my mortgage as makes sense. I'd put $1 million into various high-interest savings accounts because I only get that much of bonus interest before it plummets. Then I'd hire a financial advisor for everything else. I know the question was, what would you do first? But that's it. I wouldn't hire a lawyer as I have this incredible ability to tell everyone to go away if they ask for money. I wouldn't invest in bad investments. Story 37. Book a holiday at a nice villa somewhere warm and private. I'd go away for 2 weeks to relax, come to terms with it, and plan how I want to live my now very different future life. Where do I want to buy a house or two? What cars do I like? Should I buy or lease? How much should I invest or save to ensure the money never runs out and my kids are set for life? How much would I gift or spend on friends and family? Would I want to start a business or just retire? All of these decisions would be easier with time, space, and no stress to distract me. Story 38. I want to say something super smart and profound, but the reality is that I would probably buy something super luxurious first. I have always wanted a Louis Vuitton handbag, so I would probably buy one of those. I would also treat my husband to whatever he wanted that's equally luxurious. After that, I would sit down and make an actual financial plan. Pay off debt, such as the mortgage and both our cars, buy a nice but not too over-the-top house, and likely invest the rest. I would keep working because I like my job, but I would offer to let my husband quit his job to pursue whatever he wanted. Story 39. Climb onto my boss's desk, fan out $100 bills, pull my pants down and take a dump. Then I'd wipe with the bills, throw them down and say, "Keep the change, you filthy animal." Story 40. First, do not tell a single soul. Then read that one Reddit thread where someone wrote detailed instructions on what to do in case something like this happens. Laugh out loud. Story 41. Cash it all out. Bury it in a hole under my house for a year. Pretend I'm broke except for what I pay my lawyer that I'm most certainly keeping around. Then, once the year is up, invest it through Charles Schwab or some other investment company and live off of dividends before cashing it all out when I'm old and retiring, growing weed until I die. Story 42. Beside the obvious of hiring people to manage my money, I'd get several acres in the subtropics and grow my own food year-round. My job would becoming self-sufficient. I love growing food, and I'd make it my life. Story 43. Get a lawyer and a financial advisor. Do not tell anyone. Then buy a house that is only slightly out of my price range. Then maybe a few more as rentals. Go back to work part-time. Story 44. After general tasks like hiring a financial advisor and solicitor, I would go straight to the local BMW dealership and buy myself an M4 competition pack. Story 45. I would get a financial advisor, invest a significant amount in the Standard & Poor's 500 exchange-traded fund long-term, and maximize a Roth individual retirement account. I would also invest in some rental properties and place another significant amount in a savings account with a high-interest return and a 5-year lock. Story 46. Hiring a financial advisor immediately, investing a good portion, putting a good portion into a high-interest savings account, and then I'm using the rest to build a new life and home on a small but decent plot of land far away from my hometown. Story 47. Make sure that I really won and how to best protect the money when I get it. Don't think it would happen, but if you get several million in your bank account and the bank goes bankrupt the same day or close to it, what should you do? Should you put most in an index fund as fast as you can before you know how to invest it best?